And again, this is the first day. This is not going to happen every time. So Computer Science 304, this is a course in theory. You have information, textual, so you know that, well, you know my name. I'm not going to give you my office because we're not going there. The guards will, come and get us if we try to sneak in. And the book is by Taylor. It's out of print, so it actually is ethical to, just go and find it online. Get a PDF for the text. And your homework, and this is for the first month, read chapter 0 and chapter 1. Chapter 0 is kind of a review of discrete mathematics. Chapter 1 is an introduction to a automaton. And you've used that word in your past. Girls like to use that word. When you meet a guy, maybe you're at a dance, I don't know where you are, and you're talking to a girlfriend and you say, God, he's so boring. He's a real automaton. So machine-like. So in this course, we look at mathematical models of a computer. And I hear you. You've been using real computers, obviously better than I'm doing today, for the past few years. Why the heck do we need a theoretical model? The point is, you can't prove anything if you're using a laptop made of plastic, energy cells, and transistors. So in this course, we would like to talk about models of computers. And there's going to be, your book must have 10 or 12 different models. The ones that we live and die by, I guess given the health situation, I shouldn't use language like that. A Turing machine. All of you are probably familiar with Alan Turing. Maybe you saw the movie a while back, The Imitation Game. Of course, I was crying at that movie. And two others, finite state machines. Somebody loved the movie, so then I know you can hear me. That's good. Finite state machines, you may have seen if you took a course with, I don't know if this course is required for his 340, switching theory. I taught 340 many times. Okay, but in any case, when you build sequential circuits in that course, not this one, 340, is that still the number? Whatever it is. I haven't taught it in 5 or 6 years, but okay. But we use finite state machines as the basis for sequential circuits. So when you're in a hardware class, I'm sure if you've taken Professor Gertner, you've used this terminology. You talk about Mealy machines, MEALY, and Moore machines, MOORE. Two different models for finite state machines. Oh, by the way, let's back up before we get to the third model. We're going to use JFlap. And Ray over there, I can't talk to him, but that's okay. He and I will figure it out after class. But JFlap is a language that is used to simulate theoretical models. And I'll ask you to write programs. Don't get scared. It's not the kind of programs you're used to using, to solve your searching problems, your sorting problems, your compiler programs, whatever you're working on. These models are merely to simulate the theoretical model. So I would ask you to design a finite state machine. That's at the end. That's funny. Your book does them in reverse order, from most complicated down to simplest. So we were talking about Alan Turing a few moments ago. So the Turing machine, that's your first programming assignment. I would ask you, write a Turing machine, write a program that is able to do the computation that a Turing machine would do. Okay. Later in the semester, we get to, as we just said, finite state machines. And the funny thing is, after you've designed the Turing machine, and then you start working on a finite state machine, you're going to see, oh, by the way, in this course, we like to abbreviate everything. Finite state machine, FSM. So, you know, in a month, this will sound like English, whatever I'm saying. So you'll see that programs for FSMs, for finite state machines, are very simple. And we'll get to the punchline in this course in a, one or two sessions. But the Turing machine, the first model, chapter 1 in your text, has the same computational power as a digital computer. That's not something you're going to believe on this first day. On this first day, you're going to say, what the hell is he talking about? That's okay. But the finite state machine, the funny part is, it's the model we use to build simple models for digital circuits, but it's the Turing machine that we use to emulate an actual computer. And we said we would look at 3 models: Turing machine, finite state machine, and the third one is something called a push-down automaton. And I told you we abbreviate everything. Push-down automaton, PDA. So I don't know, we'll see. I like to say you look ambitious, but I can't see you. You can hear me, but you can't see me. And I don't even have my hair combed well, so it's good that you can't see me. But in any case, a push-down automaton, if you, some of you might be, no, you should be juniors, but you may take a course in compiler construction. And a compiler is the software that permits your computer to talk to your programs. Because again, the computer is hardware, the real computer, not the theoretical model we were just mentioning. But we're going to use the theoretical models because they help us to get the computer, the actual computer, to talk to the model. Because computers don't know Java. Computers don't speak Fortran or COBOL or any other language, C++, whatever language. Computers don't know anything about them. But compilers are able to translate those high-level languages, HLL, right? We'll have the million abbreviations. So when we get to JFLAP, once I get to see your faces, usually it's 35 or 40 of you, whatever it is. And I must know some of you from my 104 class. That was like summer a year and a half ago. So usually I pick on people I know. So you're lucky today that I can't see you. You can't see me. So I can't give you any homework. I mean, personal homework. But okay, so JFLAP, Ray, he's a good person to get to know. The other end of this conversation, he's listening with you, or maybe he left. Who the heck knows?
I'm here.
I hear him. But so yeah, if I know 7 or 8 of you, I probably would volunteer you to write a program each, a Turing machine, and that's like a tutorial for the rest of the class. So, it's a little extra work because I know you'd love that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, Inch, since I don't have any notes, let me see. Did he actually send me, Ray, did you send me any notes, or I just have this lecture 1? Oh, okay. He sent me the second page. So here we go. I can actually sound more intelligent now. All
Just
right,
tell
I'm
me to
fooling
scroll.
myself. So theory of computation. That's what this course is all about. And I hear you. Even though I can't hear you, I can read your minds. And what you're saying is, you mean he can talk like this for 4 months? And the answer, of course, is yes. I don't run out of hot air, as you'll see soon enough. But theory of computation focuses on the theoretical underpinnings of software construction. So we need compilers. Every time you build a new computer, you need to write software that's able to translate the hardware of the machine into the rudiments of the programming language we're working on. So again, you program in C++, we don't have a person inside the machine that takes the C++ and translates it into something the machine understands. We need a compiler for that. And then we need a PDA, push-down automaton, which is capable of transforming those theoretical constructs into machine transfer statements. So you tell me, add A to B and put the results in C, and what the heck is the computer doing? God knows, I need more coffee. So don't worry about that. So theory of computation, that's what this course is all about. All right. And we start at the beginning, the fundamental questions. And I know if this were a philosophy course, what's the meaning of life? In computer science, some of you might have been in my algorithms class more than a year ago. I don't know. When I see your faces, I'll know. But the basic issue is, what's an algorithm? And of course, it is a step-by-step procedure that is guaranteed to halt. And I'll read these notes in a minute, so Ray, don't take it away. But the basic thing we need is that you give instructions, and the device that you're talking to must be capable of understanding those instructions. So we can all eat outside now. Well, the restaurants have opened in New York City, but if it rains, you're in a lot of trouble. That's why if you walk around the city, you see all the owners putting up these little tents. So even when it's raining, they make some money. But the point is, the instructions need to be understood by the agent that you're speaking to. So if I survive today, we don't know. Well, I seem to be doing it okay. You're probably going crazy, but that's fine. And I tell you, I would like some, I'll make it spaghetti marinara. You can see where my tastes lie. Good Italian food. And suppose you don't cook. How the hell do you make spaghetti marinara if you don't even know how to cook spaghetti? So when I give you an instruction, I go to a restaurant, I don't want to have to explain how to make spaghetti sauce or whatever we're doing. I would assume that let's make believe I'm talking to the chef. Obviously, the waiter needs to transfer the instruction to the person who actually does the cooking. So the model of computation, the person is able to understand, I want some spaghetti with meatless sauce, So when you work with your computer and you give an instruction, suppose you say sort. You got 10,000 keys in a file, and you punch in sort. You assume the computer understands what the heck that means. You take the 10,000 records and you put them in an order so that they can be processed faster. All right, let's see what my notes say. So an algorithm, a finite set of instructions to solve a problem. Okay. It generally has inputs, those 10,000 records. The governor's been angry, right? Con Ed didn't put the electricity back on after the last storm that we had. What the hell was it? Whatever it was, 2 weeks back. So he's talking about, throwing them out. No business in New York. Okay. So the algorithm generally has inputs and outputs. You know that when you write programs. And importantly, it must be guaranteed to halt. If you don't promise me that, then it's called a procedure. This is where I would ask you, what's a procedure? But I can't hear you. You can't see me. I don't know. I hope you can't see me. We'll see. So what are some examples of algorithms? Well, you didn't have to take my CompSci 220 course. That was 3 semesters ago. Well, there's probably a couple of you from that summer. Okay, since I'm not going to get an answer, well, I won't hear it when you speak. Quicksort. You know how that works. You partition the file of, 10,000 keys with respect to a pivot. Make it the first key. Every key less than the first key, move it left. Every key greater than or equal to the first key, move it right. And hopefully, if the world is fair, well, I don't know if it's fair. You know what we've been going through the past few months. But then you get half of the keys on the left and half the keys on the right. You started with 10,000 keys out of order. Now you've got 2 sets of 5,000 keys, each out of order. But eventually, you're going to get down to 10,000 files, each containing 1 key, and they're all in order with respect to each other. So we are guaranteed that the first key is less than or equal to the second. The second key is less than or equal to the third. And I can go on for, the rest of the file. So we're sorting. Okay, so that's a basic algorithm. Why? Because when we send our money to Con Ed, even though we don't think they deserve it, it's easier for Con Ed to send out their bills if they're able to deal with a sorted file. All right, some examples of a procedure. And again, sometimes students can give me an example. But an operating system, you would hope that an operating system never stops. When it does, you're in trouble. All right. This course so far, we've stopped. We don't have this stuff running, but that's okay. Go ahead, Ray. The next one. So, an algorithm for making a phone call. When I was a kid, that algorithm was very different than it is now. When I made a phone call 100 years ago, I had many, many phone numbers in my head, 100, 150. Now, I can't even tell you my own phone number. Generally, I only remember what I need to remember. And as you know, we all have smartphones. The phones got smarter. We got dumber. And I don't know my number. What I do is I look it up on the phone. I say, yeah, that looks like me. And I click and boom, the phone magically talks to somebody at the other end. All right. So these days, take out my phone, go to the phone icon. Maybe the people I like the most, I put them in the front of my, my list. I click, boom, magically the phone calls who I want to speak to. That it wasn't like that many years ago. You had to know the number of the person you were calling. All right, cooking penne alla vodka, some kind of Italian pasta. It actually has vodka sauce in it, but I promise you won't get drunk. So the algorithm cook the penne, a certain kind of pasta. But again, if you're not a chef, I'm not even speaking to you. You don't even know what that means. So then I tell you what the penne is, and I tell you to boil it. And you don't know what that means. How long? What size pot? Et cetera, et cetera. So you need to go into more and more detail. In 220, the algorithms class we take, if you were there, then you know what I gave you as homework there. I tried to get someone in the class who knew about origami, making three-dimensional items out of paper. So making an origami bird. So what are the primitives? The primitives, look at the middle one. You're making penne. How big is the pot? And you got to put oil and salt in the water. How long do I boil the pasta? Usually until you throw it at the wall and it doesn't fall down. Then you know your pasta's cooked. Put it on the side, and now you've got to get your sauce going. All right, you got the idea. You take algorithms classes, so you know what's going on. Ray, or whoever he substituted to do that work. Okay, what's a program? A program is just an algorithm that has been translated into a programming language so that a computer can understand it. You can't tell a computer to make penne alla vodka. You need to, I'm not even going to tell you what that means. So computers, they don't speak C++. They don't speak Java. They speak machine language. What register do you want me to activate? What are the inputs to that hardware? What are the outputs? So that's all you get. Ray or race agent. So a program in high-level language, HLL. You have a source program. And we mentioned compilers a few minutes ago. You need to get a compiler that's capable of taking your code, whatever language you're using, and translate it into a language that the machine understands. Okay. And yeah, so you get your object code, as we say. Okay. Wait a minute. What is a computer? Now you got trouble. It actually is not an easy question. So don't tell me about control units and registers and all that stuff. That's not a computer. What you need to do is to talk about what it is. What's the functionality of a computer? And to execute an algorithm. And by the end of this course, and I know by now you feel like you've been in this class for 4 months listening to me, and you want to know if you could just skip the next 3.5 months, or do you have to keep listening to me? Who knows? But we mean the functionality of a computer. And by the time we get there, and I tell you that a computer is equivalent to a Turing machine, you're going to shake your head and go, yeah. I don't know if you believe it, but you're going to say, well, if we don't tell him yes, he's going to just keep going for another 4 months. I understand. All right, give me the next slide, mystery student. All right. So later on in the course, we talk about solvable versus unsolvable problems. What's a solvable problem? Oh, add 2 to 2. And most of us got 4 without crying too much. But what's an unsolvable problem? Well, on August 26th, an unsolvable problem is getting everything that you hooked up together. I've been talking to Ray for 2 days nonstop. Even I go to sleep and I'm dreaming about him. It's just I can't get him out of my head. But that's not what we mean. A problem is unsolvable if we can't get an answer no matter how smart we are. No algorithm exists to solve that problem. And the classic unsolvable problem, so again, we're not talking about paying your tuition. That might be unsolvable. So an unsolvable problem, an answer could never be forthcoming, no matter how much time is permitted. What do we got? Oh, that's nice. Somebody's sending emojis out. All right, I hope you're saying something nice. Okay, so if a problem's unsolvable, it doesn't matter how much time you permit. It's not going to happen. All right, now there's a particular type of problem that we're going to use quite often, a decision problem. And again, in 4 or 5 weeks, we'll just be able to use this. This will make sense to us. All right. So a decision problem, the answer to a decision problem has to be in the form of yes or no. So suppose you're a 7-year-old kid. Well, all of us were once. And you get out of school 3 p.m. and you talk to your parents. No, your mother's home. It's an old style family. Mommy stays home and makes the house, and daddy goes to work. So you go to your mother and you say, Mom, can I have ice cream? And if she's a good mother, she would say, no, you have to have dinner first. But she won't say that. Why? Because she's afraid you're not going to love her so much. So instead, you say, if you're the mommy, ask your father when he comes home. All right. When your dad comes home, Dad, can I have ice cream? If he's smart, he'll say, ask your mother. So you're not going to get an answer. But a decision problem, the answer is yes or no. Yes, you can have ice cream. No, you cannot. All right. Now, hold on. Let's stay on this page. I don't care if the next page, I've taught the course enough times that I don't need to look at the notes, actually. So an optimization problem. So this is a different kind of problem. You go to your mom, it's 3:30 out of school, and you say, Mom, what's the most ice cream I can have? So you're a little smarter than you were when you were thinking about decision problems for your ice cream problem. So, so an optimization problem, you're trying to get the most you can get. What's the most money I can get from my allowance, something like that. Okay. So decision problem, the answer is in terms of yes or no. Optimization problem, you want to maximize or minimize some quantity. Okay. Oh, this is the classic problem, going back to Alan Turing. And again, we used to have things called movies. And you can still see movies on TV, but if you've looked, you notice that it's always the same 3 or 4 movies shown over and over again. I think I've memorized every word in Godfather 1, 2, and 3. That's it. A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. All right. So suppose you're given an arbitrary program P running on an arbitrary string omega. I like to say omega instead of W. This actually is an omega. So here we are. We've got some program. You've got a laptop. It's working. And you want to know if you input some string, those 10,000 keys that Con Ed is trying to send you bills, even though they didn't get all the trees out and the electricity. There's still some poor woman in Queens that has the tree stuck up there, if you watched the news last night. So arbitrary program running, and you input some arbitrary input, and we want to know, is the program ever going to halt? The answer is yes or no, but we don't know what the answer is. So you give it a super program, as we might say, SP, which returns yes if P, the program, running on omega, some string, the 10,000 keys, yes if it halts when it's fed that input, no if it doesn't. So, okay. When problems are solvable, we want to know if they're easy or hard. Okay, so I promised you that, I'm going to assign some programs in this course. Once I figure out this Zoom stuff, Ray will give me some more lectures on that. That's supposed to enable us to communicate. We'll see. But we want to know, is the problem easy or hard? So sorting, you want 10,000 keys in order? That's an easy problem. We work for PC Richards. We deliver air conditioners. Yeah, it's still summer. So we want to deliver those 10,000, 50 air conditioners on a Wednesday evening. And we want to be able to do it driving the least amount of miles. So give me the shortest route to deliver every AC to the address that's you've got on your routing slip. That's a difficult problem. So easy or hard, that's a hard problem, we said. So we're going to use a term somewhere, and it'll come up in chapter 0, actually, once you start again, chapter 0, chapter 1. And Ray has told me that we found the syllabus. So you're going to see in the syllabus that I checked a whole bunch of problems that I want you to work on. You will be asking me in 3 weeks, where are the answers? You told me you had an answer book. Yeah, we do, but I don't want to give you the answers until you've had time to work on the problems. But okay. The term is going to be something called NP complete. Capital N, capital P, put a little dash, complete. Okay. That means difficult. We'll say much more than that soon enough. All right. My mystery student, please give me the next. Okay. So a problem is said to be tractable. In English, tractable, Tractable, means reasonable. Okay, here it says easy. It means you're not going to sweat too much if you're being asked to get the answer to a problem that is tractable. So sorting those 10,000 keys, a lot of our students get jobs at Con Edison, but it's not hard. You can write a program. You can even use bubble sort. Who the heck cares? You saw that in your first programming class. The file is small enough, so even for 10,000 keys, the problem is tractable. All right. So here there exists an algorithm A to solve the problem, whose worst case is polynomial. Polynomial in the size of the problem. So what the heck is a polynomial? N squared plus 2n plus 17. That's a polynomial. Okay. Examples. I hope I don't have to give one. Give me the next page, mystery student. Okay. So easy, the last page, versus hard, H-A-R-D. So The only algorithms that can solve hard problems require worse than polynomial time. Oh, it could be polynomial, maybe it's factorial, 7 factorial, 20 factorial, whatever. So, because it could be, exponential, or it might be factorial. We call each of those, or both of them, super polynomial. So super polynomial, exponential time, 2 to the n to the n, n factorial. We'll do a little more than this next time. So examples of intractable problems, people at PC Richards, the truck drivers, trying to determine the most efficacious, the fastest way to deliver 50 air conditioners in northern Brooklyn. Okay, that's what we want. The minimal cost route to get everybody on a Wednesday evening to finally have an air conditioner. Okay. All right. Mystery student, turn the page. You can tell me who you were next time. Why am I asking you to turn the page? Oh, the answer. Why for my question? Okay. So abstract model of a computer. Why do we bother? We got real computers. You do. I don't have anything here. I'm making this up as we go along. But we look for an abstract mathematical model of a computer. And the reason why is because we'd like to be able to say something intelligent about the complexity, the hardness of a problem. I can give you a laptop, what are they, 700, 800, whatever you paid for your laptop. It's plastic, power cells. I don't know what you got in there. If we were in a hardware class, we'd be able to, fudge our way through. But in any case, the reason we talk about abstract models in this course is we'd like to say something about how tough the problems are. So that's what we want. And if something's unsolvable, if a problem's unsolvable, we'd like to know it. Why? Because we're computer scientists. If you were a physicist, you want to know what the heck does E equal MC squared mean? That, originally we used to talk about conservation of energy or conservation of mass. We don't talk that way anymore. In 21st century physics, we talk about conservation of mass energy or energy mass. It's actually one thing, that mass can be transformed into energy. And because of that equation, E equals MC squared, when you lose a little bit of matter, very little mass, M, the energy that's produced, equals MC squared, is an amazing amount. And you know about atom and hydrogen bombs that were able to produce an amazing amount of energy using very little mass. So we're computer scientists. We're not worried about energy and mass, but we do worry if a problem is very difficult or if it's not. Okay, next page. So, okay. Abstract model of a computer. I'm giving you an algorithm for multiplying two numbers. If this were our switching class, we'd go through this. Your multiplicand, your multiplier, your partial products, you move them to the left, and you eventually get the product. And if you've taken a course with Professor Gertner, there are faster ways to get the product than just calculating, one digit at a time. Oh my God, is it Wagner's algorithm? Somebody tell me sometime. But we can do 2, 4, maybe 8 digits at a time, and there are shortcuts. So we can find faster algorithms. Okay, was that it? You don't have any more notes there? I thought I had more. All right, hold on. 1 second. Oh. Can somebody yell? Is anybody able to talk to me? Ray left.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm going to hope that when I talk now. let me
I'm
see,
here.
what
I'm
is
here.
this?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you came back?
Yeah, I'm here.
All
There's,
right,
there's,
okay, I thought you had to leave. The students are still there?
yeah, there's more to the notes. ALU?
They still what?
There's more to the notes, the arithmetic logic unit, if you want to cover that.
No, I think, let me talk for a couple of minutes. We'll finish up the notes. Oh my God, wait a minute. Today is Wednesday. Oh, Monday is a class, right?
I think we're off next
When the
week.
hell is Labor Day? When's the first Monday in September?
The 9th.
No, it can't be.
Oh, sorry.
It can't
sorry.
be later
Monday's-
than the 7th
Sorry.
because
First
you
7th.
would have
Monday the
gone
7th.
through all 7 days of the week by the time you get to 7.
Sorry. It's
So
7th.
Labor Day never occurs on September 8th. See, that much I know. All right, look, you got the textbook. I mean, you know how to access it. You can get a PDF. Again, let's see, the requirements for this course, you should have had a course in algorithms, 220, because we talked, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking algorithms, even though we're using these strange automaton models, but that's actually algorithms. And hold on. So 220, obviously discrete math. What else is the requirements for this? We got to know data structures, of course. But I think if you've survived 220, you should be okay. So in a normal world where we don't have to wear masks and go around wherever we go, there would be a midterm and a final. Now, Ray is telling me that there are ways where I can ask you to turn on your webcams and I can look over your shoulder or whatever I do to make sure you're not cheating. I don't know. We're going to put that on hold. We have time to think about it. And a final. And about 3 programs. Maybe we do more programs in JFlap. So again, you have notes on that. Ray's done a good job. He took my notes as input and organized it as quite good output. All right, so midterm final. You had 220. Let's see. And the 3 programs. And I probably, somehow, I will meet you online for you to describe your programs. You know, so that we can do. We can talk.
Professor, there's a question.
I'll ask Ray to set up appointments 10 minutes each for, you know, and I'll put you in groups of size 2 or 3. So we'll see. So get the book. Start reading the first 2 chapters in parallel. 1 page from chapter 0, 1 page from chapter 1, da, 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 da. Well, you know. And also, let me tell you, if you're reading the text and it seems too simple, like I can't do this homework, it's too simple, I'd go crazy. You know, but just speed it up. But make sure you know the pages you're skipping. So you know what you know and what you don't know. Okay, so you, again, 4 or 5 weeks to read all that. The first month, you're going to have a JFlap program to write using a Turing machine. Okay. And I don't know. Trump has been telling us that this is going to leave. He started with Easter. It was going to disappear, right? Was it Jesus that walked on water? So he thought the coronavirus would just disappear. So I assume we're going to be on Zoom for the rest of the semester. We'll see. I hate this because I can't see you. I feel nicer when I see people, not little icons on a computer screen. Okay, so you got your homework. Obviously, I got my homework. Ray is the course assistant. He's quite good at these things. And somehow we're going to make it. He and I will chat over the next few days, and he's going to make me an expert in Zoom. I'm going to be able to manipulate my way around this world. So, okay, I think we're good. If we clip a few minutes off, it's not going to matter. Office hours. Oh, by the way, one more thing. The Zoom meeting, we have sort of pedestrian Zoom right now. Professor Kawaguchi said we can get the fancy version so that our meetings can be longer. When our meetings, right, this time we got cut off and, Ray put us into a second meeting. That's the reason there was that little break. So with the super version, if you will, we'll be able to set it up so that it's like 2.5 or 3 hours. We're not going to have 3-hour classes. I don't think you can handle me for 1.25 hours. But we'll have time for office hours before class. You notice that some of you came early and you had already been invited into the meeting. And we'll meet a little bit after the class ends, but I know you have other classes. So, but that's okay. The point is, if you have questions, usually in a real world, you'd come up front and we would chat for a little bit. So we could do that before and after the class. I'd be available a little bit before the class, and I'd stick around as long as people had questions after the class. So, okay. You got the course requirements, the exams, the JFLAP papers. I may get you to, discuss your programs, online. I'd be able to see you. After today, we'll actually have faces. We'll see. But I think we're okay. A couple of people wanted over tallies. We need to go through Crystal. She's our liaison. Well, she's not the boss, but she's our liaison with the dean, the undergrad dean. And we'll see if, so 2 of you. No, for this course, it was 1 person who needed an over tally. So just because you're listening to this, or I hope you are, that doesn't mean you got in. It just means we put you in the Zoom room. And we'll know by next time. By Monday, we'll know what the heck is going on. But okay, thanks for putting up with all the confusion. Next class, we will finish the lecture from chapter, just chapter, the first lesson.
Professor?
And yeah, and we'll be a little more organized. Not too much so, but a little bit. Also, let me see. If there's somebody in this class that I know well, I'm not good with names. Usually I get to know my students by looking at their faces. So if one of you, Ray, interview them and find out how they know me. And what I would like is somebody who's would take the attendance and, make up a list. And if you could, make up a PDF and mail it to Ray, and he can keep the paperwork. that was my problem. When I take attendance sheets, they all disappear. So, so if you could make it up and pass it along to Ray, so I know who's here and who's not. And so Ray, pick an appropriate assistant for you who can, write down the names. They should be able to see the names on who's there with them, and we'll know who's around. Okay. All right, Ray, I'm going to sign out. What did I miss? Anything?
Yeah, so some students asked questions about.
Hold on. What should I have spoken about?
Someone asked about how are grades distributed.
Grades? Okay. As most of you know, I'm very tough. So I'm hoping that not too many of you pass the course, because maybe I want to teach this again in the spring. So, you might wish to do me a favor and do very poorly on the exam. That would make sense. I'd like that. So, Ray, if you ask a dumb question, I'm there to give them a dumb answer.
Okay, there's another question. What about,
I don't answer questions like that. The other question I think is kind of stupid is when a student raises their hand and says, is this going to be on the exam? You should be here to learn, not to worry about what's on the exam. But what did need to be said is that when Ray was making up the schedule, we have to look at the calendar. And I love the fall semester because there's so many nice Jewish holidays. I love holidays, so the point is we set up Zoom appointments, 2 per week, and it's 14 weeks. But we don't have all of that. Thanksgiving is a Thursday. And these days, Wednesday is actually school, I believe, the day before Thanksgiving. And the Jewish holidays, they're gone. Do we go to school the day that we vote? We want to reelect Trump as president, of course. So is there school that day? So the point is, you got an academic calendar. All of you do. So you know when the actual holidays are. So if Zoom tells you you have an appointment, but the real world tells you that it's a holiday, listen to the real world, since we don't get too much of that these days, and just to make our lives easier. But, so 4 or 5 times you'll be invited to a Zoom meeting that does not exist because school is closed. But, I love conversion days. That's my favorite. When a Wednesday is holding Tuesday classes. You know what I'm talking about. If you've been at City College long enough, you know how confusing it can be. So study, it's coming up soon. Labor Day. Labor Day always occurs on a Monday. You're going to get a Zoom invitation to a meeting on Labor Day. You can bet I'm not going to be here. Not even like I am now today. I don't come to school on vacations. I'm good at that now. Took me years. As you get older, you get to learn to be nicer to yourself. So please consult the calendar. Talk to your friends. If some of you were born in another country, so your holidays are different, perhaps. So you got to use your common sense. I don't want to ask Ray to go through the appointments. I mean, the meeting times, and to look at a calendar, and it's too much work. So we'll always say the class before, we have school, this Wednesday, or we don't, or we do, who knows? Or next 2 weeks from now on a Wednesday, it's a Monday schedule. I don't know. So the point is, please keep an academic calendar in your notebook so that you can reference those kinds of things. And we'll always mention it. And one of you, once we can talk 2 ways, to me, to you, to everybody, you can yell out when I missed a holiday. If I'm in danger of coming to school when I shouldn't, please save me. Okay, go ahead, Ray. Wait a minute.
Am I muted? Oh, I'm not
To
muted.
answer your questions about homework,
Yeah, I answered it. So it's completely random. But yeah, it helps with the exams when you do it. So yeah, he may.
look, I hope students who know me understand that I'm pulling their legs half the time. You know, I don't answer questions like that. If the reason my class enrollment is larger, what is it, a graduate student who's teaching the other section? I don't know. I seem to have more students, but if you actually registered here because you think I'm easier, you're in a lot of trouble. If you're here because you want to learn, once we get past the, this nonsense about the connectivity, then I'm happy to have you in the class. But if you're here to waste my time and you're just looking for an easy grade, don't even tell me about it. Don't even ask about it. I don't need it. Go ahead, Ray. Anything else?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. So Monday is school. Is that true? Monday, what's today? 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. The 30th, we're still in August, which means it's not Labor Day. So I guess Labor Day is Monday, September 6th, something like that. Who knows? All right, so try to get a copy of, a PDF of Taylor. If you look at the syllabus, you'll see that you need to have a copy of chapters 0 and 1. 0 is a review of discrete math. Chapter 1 is all about Turing machines. Then we skip chapter 2, which is more info on Turing machines, but we come back to chapter 2 later on. And chapter 8 is, you'll see a little bit about Turing machines, complexity of problems that we sort of skirted today. We'll come back to that. But generally, after chapters 0 and 1, we jump up to chapter 9, which is finite state machines. Chapter 10, which is push-down automata. And then we go back to, as I said, chapters 2 and 8. And there's other chapters. You'll see on the syllabus, I use one of my favorite phrases, if time permits. So who knows, maybe you're good and we can talk faster. Generally you see, I can talk fast when I need to. But again, this is not the kind of course that you can just sit there and get an easy grade. If you came in for that reason, I would suggest you go talk to the grad student teaching the other section, because you're not going to do well in my course. I can promise that. Yeah, I didn't become a prof just to give out easy grades. I was hoping you were here in the class because you want to learn. We'll get along very well if that's the truth. Okay. Do I got all their questions?
Yep, that covers it. I will.
Okay.
Continue. So I'm going to end the meeting for everyone.
All right, and we'll talk in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm going to make sure to post the recording onto the course webpage.
Okay. So yeah, call me in 20 minutes. Let's do a phone chat or something. Okay. All right, take it easy. Adios, guys. Hopefully Monday we get to hear more of each other. All right, ciao. All right, bye-bye.